welcome to Study Spectrum. Today we will start with the second chapter of second semester 10th standard CBSE of chemistry, that is periodic classification of elements. Friends, have you ever been to a grocery shop or a library? What you have noticed there? If you go to a library, you may find that all the books are arranged in some sort of pattern. Hindi books on one side arranged standard wise, science books on one side arranged standard wise, mathematics books on one side arranged standard wise. Why? The reason is it is very easy to pick them then. It becomes very easy to pick the book you want. Correct? Had been they jumbled, they have been placed one over the another, forming a heap or a random structure. Your life will become hell to sort out one particular type of book, or it would become a luck if you get a book easily from that heap or jumbled books arranged in that library. Correct? Now what the system, if you go to the library of a school, college or a public library, what the system has done, they have designed a pattern where whenever a reader comes, it becomes very easy to pick any of the book that reader requires. That is called classification of books. Another example, if you go to a grocery shop, you might have seen that perfumes, deos are arranged on one side, food items are arranged on one side, beverages, cold drinks arranged on one side, spices arranged on one side. Why? Because when a customer goes to a grocery shop, it becomes very easy to pick them. Whenever he wants, say, cold drink, he can pick any cold drink from that particular rack. Or if you want spice, you can pick a spice from that particular rack. So what that shopkeeper or that particular store has done, they have classified particular type of objects together. Similarly, if you talk about your homes, if you see your wardrobe or cupboard, you might see that your mom asks you, or even she does it. She arranges t-shirts on one side, jeans on one side, shirts hung from hanger on one side. Correct? Why? Because it becomes easy for you to pick t-shirt, jeans or whatever clothes you want. That is also a sort of classification. Now, why we are talking about that? Because in lower standard, in 9th standard, you might have learned that matter can be classified as element, compounds or mixtures. If we talk about elements, they are mainly built up of same type of atoms. Correct? Till date, we have 114 elements discovered. 114 elements discovered so far. If we go back in time, say in 19th century or early 19th century, 18th century, at that time very few elements were discovered. Roughly around 30 elements. Now as slowly elements were being discovered, scientists found that they must classify elements according to their physical and chemical properties so that it is very easy to pick those elements. Similarly, what we have taken the examples from real life of a library of your school, college or a public library, if you talk about grocery, even the cupboard or wardrobe of your home. Similarly, scientists thought that it is very important to classify elements since elements are being discovered frequently and the numbers are increasing. Correct? And till date, as of now, like I said, as of now, till date, there are 114 elements discovered. But as we go back into the time, early 19th century or 18th century, there were very few elements, roughly 30 elements discovered, and scientists thought they must be classified. That is what we are going to study in this chapter, periodic classification of elements of chemistry, second chapter of second semester 10 CBSE, that how different scientists contributed in classification of elements. Here is a normal layout what we are going to study in this chapter, periodic classification of elements. The first recognized scientist, a German scientist named Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner, was the first recognized scientist who classified few elements in form of triad. We'll study all these topics in details. We are just trying to know what are the different points which we are going to cover in this chapter. What are the different topics we are going to study in this chapter. There were attempts from few scientists, mainly 3 scientists, who tried to classify elements but they failed. And finally the 4th main scientist, Henry Moseley, who gave us the modern periodic table which we see nowadays in chemistry. So we'll start with the very first scientist, German scientist. His name was Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner, who gave the law of triad. He formed a triad, a cluster of 3 elements, and he formed few triads. He was not able to classify all the elements, but still he made the attempt. That is very important. And we are going to study about his law of triads, what were merits and demerits in his law of triads, how he built those triads, and what were the laws, or what was the law rather he gave for that triad, and what were the merits and demerits of that triad. Now before we study all these topics in detail, let me tell you the first 3 scientists. I have named the first scientist, German scientist, that is Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner, who was a German scientist. After him in came Newland in 1867. He was a British scientist. He gave law of octaves, which we will study in detail as we move along in this chapter. He gave law of octaves. In that also we are going to study what was the merits and demerits in his law of octaves, why he also failed after the German scientist Dobereiner. And third famous recognized scientist, he was a Russian scientist, Dmitry Mendeleev. He was one of the famous scientists. He gave, he classified all the elements present at that time in 19th century. We'll study about his periodic table also. He gave the periodic law. We'll try to understand and study about merits and demerits of his periodic table also. So, and finally, another English scientist, Henry Moseley, came in, and he gave us the modern periodic table which we see in our day-to-day life chemistry. Correct? Now, before we move in this chapter and study about the attempts of these scientists, let me tell you one thing. The first 3 recognized scientists, the German scientist Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner, the British scientist Newland, and the Russian scientist Dmitry Mendeleev, they all tried to attempt to make a periodic table to classify elements as they were being discovered, but they all failed. All 3 recognized scientists failed. They were their periodic table were not so useful, and they failed. We'll try to understand why they failed and how Henry Moseley, another English scientist, came into the picture and gave us the modern periodic table which we use now. Now let me tell you one thing. There was a common feature. We'll try to understand everything in detail, but let me tell you one thing. There was a common thing in between all these 3 earlier scientists. In year 1813 roughly, German scientist, 1867 Newland, and after him the Russian scientist Mendeleev, Dmitry Mendeleev. All 3 had a common basis, that was increasing order of atomic masses. Do not forget, that was the reason because of which these 3 scientists failed. Their common basis was increasing order of atomic masses. They arranged the elements in their respective periodic tables with increasing order of atomic masses, and all the anomalies were solved finally by the English scientist Henry Moseley, who assumed the basis that if elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic numbers, then a perfect periodic table can be formed, and he really did it. So let me repeat once again. We are going to study the attempts of these 3 recognized scientists before Henry Moseley, who gave the modern periodic table, and the common basis between these 3 scientists was that they assumed elements to be arranged in increasing order of atomic masses, which was corrected finally by the English scientist Henry Moseley, that if you arrange the elements in increasing order of atomic numbers, the periodic table can be perfectly formed. And that is how Henry Moseley finally formed modern periodic table, which you all see now. In that table, what we are further going to study, it is just a layout of this chapter. What we are going to study in modern periodic table, what are the position of elements in modern periodic table, different elements, what are the position of elements in modern periodic table. Then we will try to study some trends in modern periodic table about valency, atomic size, metallic and non-metallic properties. So it is a layout which tells us that these are the topics which should be covered under this chapter, periodic classification of elements, that is of part of semester 2 of chemistry part 10 CBSE. So, like I said, elements were slowly being discovered with time, and like we classify different objects in different cases, as I gave you the example of library and grocery, even at your home also wardrobe or cupboard where you arrange clothes in a pattern. Why? To it becomes very easy to pick those objects or those things which you require. Correct? Similarly, as elements were being discovered, scientists thought that it is much mandatory case, that it's a requirement that we should classify elements according to their physical and chemical properties, which all these three scientists also gave attempt before the modern periodic table came into existence. And it is very important to classify those elements so that we can easily pick them, or it looks better if we arrange all the elements in some sort of pattern. So finally we'll start with the attempt of very first scientist, that is the German scientist Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner, who gave the law of triads. We'll try to understand what is law of triads, what was the law he gave under this particular law of triads, what were the merits and demerits. So let us start with the attempt of the very first recognized scientist. He was a German scientist. Like I said, his name was Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner. In year 1817, 1817, in year 1817, this German scientist Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner said that when three elements, I'll read this statement for you. It was the law given by this first recognized scientist Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner. Under this law of triads, he said, when three elements in a triad were written in the order of increasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other elements. He said, I will repeat the statement for you, the law of triads, which this German scientist Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner in the year 1817 gave. When three elements in a triad means a cluster of three elements. When three elements in a triad were written in the order of increasing atomic masses. I hope you remember I said common basis between the first three recognized scientists was they assumed that if the elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic masses, And here in this statement of law of triad, the German scientist states that when three elements in a triad were written in the order of increasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other two elements. How? Let us see an example. He formed three triads from the elements known at that time. The first triad he formed was lithium, sodium and potassium. The first triad he formed was lithium, sodium and potassium. Now you must be wondering why I have kept a column empty here right after the elements mentioned in the first column. Correct? The first triad he formed was from three elements, that is lithium, sodium and potassium. Let us see how this statement justifies the atomic masses of these three elements, or whether the atomic mass of the middle element, that is, if you see the sodium is the middle element of the first triad, whether the atomic mass of this middle element is turning out to be the average of the rest two elements or not. Now, the atomic mass of lithium was 6.9, the atomic mass of potassium is 39. Now, like the statement says, if you try to calculate the average of these two numbers, which are the atomic masses of first and third element respectively of this first triad he formed, let us see what it turns out to be. Now, if you add 6.9 and 39, it turns out to be 45.9. Correct? Now, please note the point, he said roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other two elements. Now, if you add 6.9 and 39, which are the atomic masses of lithium and potassium respectively, the first and third element of this triad, it comes out to be 45.9. If you divide this 45.9 by 2, it roughly comes out to be 23, and that is what the atomic mass of sodium. So, like he said, when three elements, if you see these three elements, if you go down this triad, they are arranged in increasing order of atomic mass. Correct? Why? See, atomic mass of lithium is 6.9, atomic mass of sodium is 23, atomic mass of potassium is 39. The atomic masses are increasing, correct? And that is how they are arranged in this first triad. So, the first line says when the three elements in a triad, this is a triad, these are the three elements, were written in increasing order of atomic masses. We have just seen that the order is increasing, the order of atomic mass is increasing from lithium to potassium, correct? Then the atomic mass of the middle element, that is sodium in this case, the atomic mass of sodium, the middle element, was roughly, not exactly but roughly, if you divide 45.9, that is the sum of the atomic mass of lithium and potassium, 6.9 plus 39, it is coming out to be 45.9. If you divide 45.9 by 2, it is coming out roughly to be 23. Had it been 46, it would have been exactly 23. But since it is 45.9, we can say it is roughly 23. Correct? So, if you read this statement again, the atomic mass of the middle element, sodium in this case, first triad, the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic masses of the two other elements, and actually it is coming out to be. The second triad he formed was calcium, strontium and barium. Let us see whether this statement actually justifies the arrangement of these three elements in the second triad or not. The atomic mass of calcium is 40.1. The atomic mass of barium is 137.3. Correct? Now, as the statement says, as the law states, if we add the atomic mass of the first element, calcium, and the atomic mass of the third element, that is barium, and divide it by 2, it should roughly be equal to the atomic mass of the middle element, that is strontium. So if I add 40.1 and 137.3, then it becomes 177.4. Now if you divide 177.4 by 2, if you divide 177.4, that is the sum of the atomic masses of first element and third element of this second triad, calcium and barium respectively, then it comes out to be 88.7, and actually the mass of strontium is 87.6. Now if you see this calculation, I have added the atomic mass of calcium and barium of this second triad, which is the first element and third element of this triad, and it is coming out to be 88.7, and actually the atomic mass of this middle element, strontium, is 87.6, which is almost near to 88.7. That is why he said roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other two elements. So it was pretty almost same for the second triad also, this statement, this law also, that if you add the atomic masses of the first and third element and you divide by 2, that is you are finding the average of the first and third element atomic masses, then the middle element has the same value or the same atomic mass. So this was the second triad formed by Dobereiner, the German scientist Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner. The third triad he formed was between the three elements, that is chlorine, bromine and iodine. Now the atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5 and atomic mass of iodine is 126.9. Now let us see whether this statement is true for this third triad of Dobereiner or not. He said if you add the atomic mass of the first and the third element of a triad, the value which comes out to be after dividing by 2, the average value comes out to be should be the atomic mass of the middle element. So if we add the two numbers 35.5 and 126.9, it turns out to be 162.4. In order to find the average of these two numbers, the atomic masses of first and third element, I will divide the result 162.4 by 2, 162.4 divided by 2, and let us see what it comes out to be. 2 8s are 16, 2 1s are 2, 81.2 is the result which we are getting. And actually the atomic mass of bromine is 79.9, which is roughly almost equal to 81.2. The difference is not much. So we can say that actually the average of the atomic mass of the first and third element, that is chlorine and iodine, is the atomic mass of the middle element. If you add 35.5, that is the atomic mass of chlorine, and 126.9, that is the atomic mass of iodine, the third element of this triad, and divided by 2, the result is coming out to be 81.2, and actually the atomic mass of bromine is 79.9, which is almost 80 and almost near to 81.2. So we can say that this statement was coming out true for this third triad also, which the statement says that when three elements in a triad were written in increasing order of atomic masses. If you notice in the first triad also, the atomic masses, the elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic masses, 6.9, less than 23, less than 39. So order is increasing, atomic masses is increasing as you go down the group. Similarly in the second triad also, as you move down the group, down the column, you can see that atomic masses are increasing. Atomic mass of calcium is 40.1, of strontium is 87.6, and of barium is 137.3. So atomic masses are increasing. If we talk about the third triad formed by Dobereiner, the German scientist, the first attempt recognized attempt which a scientist gave in order to classify elements. Atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5, atomic mass of bromine is 79.9, and atomic mass of iodine is 126.9. So it is increasing as we go down the group. And also the second half of the law says the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly, do remember roughly, not exactly roughly, the average of atomic masses of the other two elements of the same triad. So if you see the first triad, lithium, sodium and potassium, the atomic mass of sodium is 23 and it is roughly equal to the average of the atomic masses of the first and third element of the same triad. Similarly, if you talk about the second triad, calcium, strontium and barium, which Dobereiner found from the known elements at that time, the atomic mass of strontium, the middle element of this triad, is 87.6. So if you add the atomic mass of calcium and barium, that is 40.1 and 137.3 respectively, and divided by 2, it is turning out to be 88.7, which is almost near to the actual atomic mass of strontium, that is 87.6. Similarly, if you talk about the third triad and if you talk about the second half of the statement, the law, atomic mass of bromine, the actual atomic mass of bromine is 79.9, which is almost 80. And if you add the atomic mass of chlorine, that is 35.5 and 126.9, and divided by 2, it is coming out to be 81.2, which is almost near to 80. So that we can say that it is the atomic mass of bromine is roughly the average of atomic masses of chlorine and iodine respectively. So this was the first attempt, the recognized attempt given in year 1817 by a famous German scientist, Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner, who gave this law of triads and under this law, I will repeat it again for you, under this law he said, when three elements, if you see this, these are cluster of three elements, and this cluster of three elements arranged in increasing order of atomic masses is called a triad. There are three triads which Dobereiner formed. When three elements in a triad were written in increasing order of atomic masses, then the atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the atomic mass of the middle element, that is sodium in the first triad, strontium in the second triad and bromine in the third triad, was roughly the average of the atomic masses of the other elements in the same triad. So this was Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner. We have just learned about the law of triads. We have just seen how it was getting justified for the three triads he formed. But let us try and understand, apart from merits, there were few demerits also, because of which this law failed and his periodic table was not accepted wholeheartedly, and then after came an English scientist, Newland. So let us talk about the merits and demerits once again for this scientist who gave the first recognized attempt in order to classify elements. Like I said earlier also, do not forget, today we have 114 elements till date, correct, which we see in that modern periodic table, which we will come to know as we move along in this chapter and come to Henry Moseley's attempt. Till date we have 114 elements. At that time, in early 19th century, in year 1817, there were only few elements discovered, roughly 30 elements, and the first recognized attempt given by the German scientist Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner formed only three triads among the elements present at that time, and formed these three triads. So we'll try to understand the merits and demerits once again of this particular scientist.